Check it out. Vinny is starting a new fitness journey, a new fitness goal. Since February of this year, I've just had no motivation with my training. I've been going to the gym, but I've really just been focused on growing our 7-figure mastermind. And I've literally been on the phone like twice as much as actually lifting. So a couple weeks ago, I was at church and I invited one of my coaching clients, Coach Granville Mayers, to join me. And I don't know if you saw Granville, but he was in the first reaction video for Preload, and he's a World Masters powerlifting champion. And I just, you know, I've been having this like kind of itch to try something different, to try something new. And I've never been interested in powerlifting. I've never been interested in just getting stronger. I tend to break down. I get bored of doing the same lifts. It just hasn't been my thing. And when I was at church, Coach Granville Mayers was all dressed up in a 3-piece suit, and he's 245 pounds, like solid steel. And when I saw him, I quickly saw my next 16 weeks. I said, I'm hiring him and I'm gonna get strong. I'm gonna trust him, I'm gonna see what he tells me to do. And I've got the program I started about a week ago, and what we're doing here is we're here at Core Muscle Activation with the man, Eric Seifert, who has single-handedly put me back together over the last 6-7 years. I've never experienced an injury in the gym, and it's because this guy runs quality control for me. So knowing that I'm going into uncharted territory, doing a lot more frequency with the same lifts, with movements that my body may not, Eric, how would you say it? My body isn't maybe perfectly matched for?
Yeah, some movements that his body's got to figure out now. We've got to figure out how to fit everything into.
So we're making sure that, I don't know what, cause minimal damage on the
maximum effort, minimal damage.
Yeah, so he's running quality control on my technique today. We got deficit deadlifts. What else we got? We've got a lot of, you powerlifters like to do a lot of sets, eh? Holy mackerel, we got dips, we've got reverse extensions, another variation of deadlift, we got some benching. So we're gonna make sure we're doing things with the optimal technique based on what I have available, so that we get some awesome lifts in, some great strength gains, but at the same time, we minimize the challenge on the joints. He's gonna be doing 4 sets of 2 here. So just, it's a lot of the same exercises but different variations. So deadlifting to the knees, and then deadlifting 5 to 8 centimeters off the knees, and deficit deadlifts today. But this feels really good.
It's great.
So one of the things he's giving me are activation exercises. So what are we doing here?
What we're gonna do is I want you to think about as far out as you can until your plantar flexed as much as you possibly can. There you go. And then what we're gonna do is we're bring it all the way up and then back down, but you have to make sure you get right down.
Gotcha, flat feet.
Yeah. All the way up, back down. All the way up, back down. All the way back down. Back down. Then plantar flex all the way, and then back to that full dorsiflexion. And back to that full dorsiflexion. So you have to use these dorsiflexsions to
pull
get
up,
back there.
yeah. Dorsiflexion, plantar flexion.
Yeah.
Dorsiflexion, plantar flexion, dorsiflexion, plantar flexion. I always get these mixed up.
That's okay, that's good.
So you just gave me some more like ankle mobility to get down into the position.
See the difference?
Yeah. Yeah, just like kind of just fit right in. Yeah. So what's the cue? You want me to have my elbows out as opposed to this?
Yeah, tendency because your hands are stuck. Your hands are stuck on a handle like this. So most guys, without realizing, because they get worried about hip thrust, will start to rotate back. You see, my hands are stuck in one position, so I'm getting caught, and then I start seeing injuries relative to this. Right? I start to see guys starting to blow out biceps, or I start to see radial ulnar degenerative stuff. Right? Because when they start to lift, instead of this is where the elbows lined up, they start to create rotation around that joint.
Gotcha.
So if you had a hex bar deadlift,
yeah,
no problem with that position.
Right.
Then it'd be an issue if you were doing that.
So which is why a lot of people end up resorting to that, not knowing why.
For a lot of guys, it feels better,
Yeah.
right? And there's some questions about it's sort of the weight is moved back even further into your over your base.
Yeah. He's got me on 2 to 3 minutes rest, so I just stick to 2 minutes because
it's good.
the weight's not that heavy
You're more
right now.
You're more
Slow twitch dude.
endurance guy, so.
I got the machine. I got the engine. That's light. Yes.
That makes sense. So once you get that folding,
then
it's light. When you're not folding down there, it's like, oh, this is heavy because you're having to bend to get to it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Right?
Yeah.
So if your lower can stack like that, then it's fine.
So on the way down, I'm shoving my hips out, keeping the weight underneath me.
Yeah. Stay on your
It looks
whole,
good.
Stay on your whole foot. Yeah.
The hips are moving backwards.
Yeah. Stay on your whole foot. It kind of moves around your legs, right? So
My brain is always trying to think about like what to contract as opposed to just lifting the movement.
right. So you got little pieces that are now going to get kind of put
Bringing
together,
everything together, yeah.
right? Where it's like they're going to say, I don't want you to worry about intention. Don't try and tear the bar apart.
Yeah.
Like all those other things are things to change.
Uh-huh.
But now it's just like saying, can you fold, get over the bar, and think about alignment, so that you can just have a clean lift.
Yeah.
Does that make more sense? All right. So try. You got this.
Now with my grip,
Yeah.
obviously the wider it is, the harder it is.
The wider it is, the deeper you have to go.
Right, so the more hamstring
You're gonna
length I need,
Yeah, all you're
more
doing is
quad
making
activation
all you're doing
I
is
need.
making your arms shorter.
Right.
Right. So if your arms are super long, you can right deadlift.
Right. What do I
just have
Do I
short little
my
legs.
arms? Just
you have
normal or long?
Some pretty long legs.
I got long thigh lift.
You got long thighs.
So this is gonna just
That's gonna be super punishing.
that'd be very punishing.
That would be very punishing.
You got to know what you're doing in the gym if it's punishing or not. Most people wouldn't know this is punishing to their body. Okay, so this stays here.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, and how do we get more length here just to fold
Mostly
into
just
this?
that sense of being over top, like there.
Stay over top.
Yeah, there you go.
Gotcha. This feels better. All right, here we go. Feels good. Sweet. That's it for deficit deadlift. 4 sets of 2. So yeah, I guess just for you guys' sake, it's really cool with the program here. He's actually got me. He tells me how much weight to lift. 203, 243 actually. You know, obviously rounded up to 205, 245. 4 sets of 2. Now we're on the bench press. 5 sets of 3. Fun. Incline bench press. Yeah.
Why don't you do a warm-up set? See if everything's set up right.
Yeah. Yeah, so Eric, set me up here. Hands.
Okay, so
I feel best or pinkies on the inside the Olympic lines here.
Okay, so typically if your pinky, or if you think of like how your elbow right now, like this is inside of your elbow width. So typically that's going to accentuate a little bit of tricep stuff, believe it or not, because now there's a moment of challenge to your triceps, right? Which is fine. Guys will get really bent about this. If I was ever going to set you up, I'd actually almost put you out here.
So
See how your hand, if you see in the mirror, your hand is above your.
But now make sure. Now tell them why you made that application to me, and just this isn't for everyone. This is for me.
Right. This is for Vince. So one of the things that we want to do is this is how wide or how long his upper arm is. So I want to make sure his hands are above his elbows. That's going to put the maximum amount of load on his chest. Right, so I'm creating a greater distance here. A lot of guys, again, back to strength, will be like, oh, I want to add more tricep, and sure enough, they start sliding further and further in. As Vince said, his hand position he likes tends to be is there, right, in these standardized bars, and that's quite a big difference in terms of distance.
Interesting. All right, so
let's try that.
This has always been a good move for me. Yeah. I've always felt strong and comfortable and confident here.
Yeah. It says no end of chest development. How'd that feel for distance?
I felt fine. I actually felt really strong. Like we could move actually some weight. One, two.
Oh boy. There you go.
Oh yeah.
Legs are planted. Good strong with your legs. Don't tap your toes. Good. There you go. Awesome. Easy peasy. A lot of guys, when they see a pressing motion, right? This is the only thing that makes it a press. Wider than this starts becoming a fly, right? Okay, so this is the only thing that makes it a press, is this sort of hands over elbows. But when guys start seeing press, they start thinking push, right? And the reality is, as they start to push, if those shoulder blades start to move, right? Powerlifters are very, very good at this, to try and actually get these shoulders back. You're gonna try and open up across this collarbone. The collarbone's gonna feel like it falls backwards. And then all that's gonna do, it's not a downward motion, maybe a smallest bit because he's on an incline, but this down and away position here is giving him the most amount of contraction across his chest. But that motion is really an in motion. If I followed his elbows, this is the path of his elbows. That's out and in. And so those shoulder blades sliding back behind are allowing him the most amount of room for his pec to contract and not have his, if we get into structure, the glenoid sliding forward, which is going to create some shear at his shoulder. Okay, we don't want to have force going this way across the shoulder. So when those shoulder blades slide back, his pec is the thing that's in the way of the weights.
So am I just pushing up, or do you want me to think elbows in and out?
I want you to think about just squeezing in and out. If I had to follow the path of the elbow,
okay, so
right, and
gotcha.
by squeezing in and out, the hands go up.
And my scapula stays stable, or
they stay still?
Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
Still.
Yeah, man, I need the Vinny version.
You want more weight on here?
Is this 185?
Yeah.
This is good. 1, 2, 3.
That boy. Legs. There you go. Good. Just that in. Good. Squeeze. There you go. Legs. Squeeze. That boy. Good.
That was good. Yeah, that's felt good. So, okay, so the scapula is just staying stable.
Yep.
I'm driving up, but also think about the elbows coming in slightly to keep that activation across the chest. You got me. Keep my feet on the ground, so I got a stable support.
Yep.
Great.
Perfect.
Okay, so depth for me. Yeah. So at powerlifting, you have to go to your chest, right?
Right. Okay. So
what if I can't?
Well, so here's the difference. The difference of sport of powerlifting, it's not a lift until you're touching your chest.
Right.
So the problem is when we borrow powerlifting as a sport, but nobody is scoring us in the gym.
Right.
So if you plan to compete, yes, you have to touch your chest. If you don't plan to compete and you just want to borrow powerlifting techniques, then the distance that you can maintain control of that, my chest is not thick enough, depth enough, and my forearms are way too long for me to ever touch my chest without me going behind my back. Okay, so lots of other guys, the world's best powerlifters, have rib cages twice the size of mine. And if they could have little short forearms, that would be perfect. They would have little 4-inch ranges for it. And those are the guys that you're going to see big benches. Big rib cage. You're going to see huge benches.
So how do we know we're not violating? How do I know I'm staying in that, for me, for this training program?
Well, for this training program, you're about maybe about an inch from your chest. And again, you're about an inch from your chest, right? When you get down to that, and there is no.
I feel good
room.
there.
It's great.
I just want to make sure I'm not going somewhere where joints are crashing.
No, typically, what I sometimes train people to do is I might say, hey, you know, if you're in a Smith machine or something funny like that, and say lay on the ground and do a press in one of those. And most people, if you put your elbows on the ground, they're not on their chest. Now some of the bigger powerlifters, they'd be on their chest right there.
Yeah.
They'd be like, and I'm done, and they're pushing up. The rest of us with smaller rib cages have to keep going further and further back. And now I'm behind, and part of my pec is actually trying to shear my shoulder apart.
And that's when you start seeing guys in here.
That's when you see stuff doing that. People come see me for that.
that's what pays for his vacations.
Yeah, that's right.
Your bad technique, guys.
There you go.
You're sending them to Europe every summer.
That's it.
All right. Super light, yeah. I feel really good. What I noticed in the programming, the loads are going up like a lot of frequency, but very low. He's coaxing it up very slowly.
Yeah, so as you get all these sort of multiple joint, like all these little positions. It's like challenge, 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 move up.
It's really like really intelligently. Like it's all like a piece of art when you look at all these little adjustments. And
So yeah,
I'm looking ahead.
Powerlifters will use periodization charts.
Oh yeah.
To start to stack, right?
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Let's just do one more and we'll
Okay.
let's go up a little.
Yeah.
To 205. We'll do two doubles. A 3-minute rest is not. It's actually not good for me, especially if I have a phone within distance. Next thing I know.
Yeah, the big lifters, it's like 6 minutes. They sit around for 5 minutes. Everybody argues over the radio.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Good job. When they're not big plates, you have trouble counting, I know.
No, these ones. That's the baby ones. What are these 2.5s?
Attaboy.
So 180.
225.
Good. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah. I'm actually getting a pump off doubles.
Yeah, imagine that. Stimulant. Attaboy. There you go. Okay.
Actually, yeah.
Be good with your legs now, okay? Especially on the way down, use your legs. Easy to think about the leg drive on the up, but think about the legs on the way down.
1, 2, 3.
Nice. Oh yeah. Good. There you go. Very good.
Yeah, it felt great.
Better width.
Felt great.
Better width.
Yeah. Stay with me. 16 weeks, 3 plates. We're gonna do a 315 incline bench press. 315 incline bench press. My goal is a 500-pound deadlift. Whoa. And I don't think that's that much. I feel like for me, I should be able to do that. But I haven't been able to do it, so it'll be a PB. And 400-pound squat would be cool too. So what do you guys think of those for Vinny's goals? Tell me if it's realistic. You guys likely know way more than I do when it comes to powerlifting. 300 pounds on the bench, 400 pounds on the squat, and 500 pounds on the deadlift. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's doable.
Should I, what, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's doable.
They just sound like nice numbers.
Let's just pick good numbers.